Welcome to our Speech Chix live chat where we are going to be talking about playing with a purpose. I'm Maddie, speech language pathologist with the Speech and Language Center at Stone Oak, and I am so excited that you're joining us tonight as we talk about playing with a purpose. So let me know you're here. When you log in, just give me a hi, let me know you're here, tag your friends, share with your friends so they can join in the conversation. To get started, I'm going to pose a question to you, and I'm going to come back to that question as we're discussing playing. So the question I have for you is, what is the number one job for a child? What do you think it is? If you have an idea, go ahead and comment what you think the answer is to that, and we'll discuss it again at the end. So let's get started, and I'm going to give you the 3 E's for playing with a purpose. Those 3 E's are to engage, explore, and expand. So again, 3 E's. Let's get started with that first one, to engage. So to engage your child in play. Engaging your child can start in 2 different ways. We can have child-led play, which means your child has picked a toy or an item or a game, and they are coming to you and you are going to engage with them in the item that they've picked. An adult-led engagement or play would be that you have picked something and you are going to engage your child. So with that, let's talk about the best ways to really get engaged with your child. If anything else, think about less screen time, more face time. Everything, we want to look at our child, so no distractions. Take off that TV, take the phones away, turn down the music. We don't want those distractions with our children as we're playing. We really want to give them our undivided attention. Again, we want this play to be purposeful, right? So engaging with them, looking at your child as you're playing with them. Start building that eye contact with them so they can know how to have that communication and communication skills with talking to you and having that eye contact. Talk to them, not talking at them. Again, that undivided attention. Even as infants and babies, we are learning that nonverbal communication skill. So if you're not engaged with your child during play, they can sense that. If you're not looking at them, or if you're distracted with your cell phone or cooking dinner, they're going to sense that, and then this playtime is no longer important for learning for them and for you. So we want to engage them. Lots of toys that we can do with engaging. You can do puzzles, you can do Play-Doh, it doesn't even have to be a toy. You can find something in the kitchen. They love empty boxes, they love pots and pans, so you can use that and engage with them. What can you do with them? Have an example, and this is something for maybe your younger kiddos that are getting started out with play, and this is wacky ball or whack the ball or some pretty term like that, but it has 4 balls here. I don't know if you can kind of see that. There's a little bit here, and then there's some like switchback slides here for the ball, and then there's this hammer. And so this is a great way to engage. First of all, this hammer is a soft end. I don't know if you can hear that, but it also squeaks, so that's always kind of fun for a child. And then it has a harder end. And then we have 4 balls up here. And the first, it's very simple, very nice cause and effect toy. I hit the ball goes down. I can hit another one, the ball goes down. So cause and effect. Again, your child might be in that solitary play right now where they're playing by themselves. Engage with them. So go in there and say, my turn, may I have a turn? I'm going to hit the red ball. And then it's your turn. What are you going to hit? Oh, you might hit the yellow ball. Oh, I didn't hit it hard enough. It didn't work. So again, having that conversation with your child, even on something as simple as this hammer ball toy that we have. So you can find, again, engagement toys and toys for anything to engage them. Putting it back, can you find where it goes? Let's see, does it go on the red spot? Does it go in the green spot? Does it go in the purple spot? You got it. Or and with this toy, it can be kind of frustrating at times because if you push it too hard, it doesn't stay up there. So you got to talk maybe about gentle, putting it lightly on there, and you're working at having that conversation with your child. So again, this is just one example of a nice toy that you can work on for engaging your child in that play. Remember, less screen time, more face time. Turn off the TVs, don't have those distractions. Even if your child's not watching it, it's on, it's a distraction, and it is still considered screen time for them. So turn that off and give your child that undivided attention. It can be you and your child, it can be all of your children together playing in a group play. Turn your phones off, turn music off. Unless you're doing a play with music, you could have play, music play too. So again, what's appropriate for that child to engage them. So have you got an idea of what that number 1 job is for a child yet? Okay, keep thinking about it. So we talked about one E, which is engage. We're going to move on to our second E, which is to explore. So this is a fun area for children. Sometimes you give your child a toy and the first thing they want to do is just explore it. They want to see everything that's going on about it. We're the same as adults, right? What about when you get a new technology device or something, you open it up and first thing you do is you look at it and you start going, what do these buttons do? And look at this. Not necessarily reading the instructions yet, right? You're exploring it. Children do the same thing. They're learning by exploring with these toys. So explore. Let's see what happens with these toys. What happens if I take this ball and I throw it in the air? Can I catch it? What happens if I do something different with these toys and take them that next step into exploring the different ways that I can play with this toy? So even with the one that we talked about earlier with the hammer, well, maybe I can do something else with this hammer. Can I use the other side of it? Can I poke the ball? Can I maybe roll the ball back and forth with it? So exploring new ways of using that toy. Another example is using cars. So this is a car track toy, and you can find cars and toys in all sizes for all different levels of children and ages. You have the bigger cars, kind of like the little people cars that are kind of bigger for those hands if they don't have that fine motor grasp just yet. You can do the Hot Wheels cars for smaller ones. You can buy tracks with them. So exploring what happens with this. What do I do with these toys? So I have this track and I can explore what happens if I put the car on the top and it rolls down. You know, what happens if I put it real slowly? Oh, maybe I got it to balance. That's a nice way of exploring this toy. Or does the train work? Maybe I can have a train. Does the train fit on it too? Sure does. So there's another way of exploring with that. Then the best thing with these kind of cars and tracks is that you can have these tracks and you can put them together and you can explore different ways to make the track. You know, maybe I want to make a really long track so it can go all the way through, or maybe I can make a short track and go in circles with it, or maybe I want to make several different tracks and race them with each other. So that's another way to do it. I can have two tracks maybe coming off the couch or off a cushion, or I can even use this, explore with the toy on my arm. And that's another way of exploring with the toy, feeling how the wheels move and what it feels like. This is really good, especially for kids that might be a little bit more sensitive to touch or not sure how to play with different things. Get them used to this. What does it do? Does it make a sound when I use it? How does it feel on my hands? Can I move it and drive it towards you? So there's a lot of different ways to explore. Another thing about exploring, and this is a big one, is the more the toy does, the less your child has to do. So we want to flip that. We want the toy to do less work and your child to do more work. Did you pick up on that little hint there? So the child wants to do the work. If you have a toy, there's lots of toys out there with lights and sounds and noise, and if it's doing all the work, your child doesn't have to do anything. So if you have those toys, there's a time and a place for those toys, of course, but the best thing that I can tell you to help really encourage that pretend play and imaginative play to come from your child is to turn off those toys, take out those batteries. If you have a toy that has sounds, see if you can turn off that toy. There's an on and off switch on it, or remove those batteries. So now the child has to make the noise. So even back to this track, the car is not making any noise. I have to do it. I have to engage in the toy. I have to explore, what sounds does a car make? Vroom, uh-oh, there's someone in my way, honk, honk, honk. So now I'm making the noises, and I'm encouraging that, exploring the toys and the different things that can happen with it. So we've talked about we've talked about engaging and exploring. We're getting to expanding. And we've talked about some toys with the cause and effect that we have with the ball toy. That functional play where we're using those items for what they're meant to be used for. We're using the car as a car, and we're using the train as a train. But we can explore, what else can I do with it? Can I make it an airplane? You know, can I do, what happens if they're both on the same track? Will they hit each other? Can I start that problem solving? Exploring toys and having play helps build executive functioning for your child. through play, they're learning problem-solving skills, they're learning imagination skills, they're learning cooperative skills, playing with you, taking turns with you, and they're also learning how to expand. And that brings me to my next point, where we're going to that third E, where we're going to talk expanding that. So we've had engage, we're going to engage our child into our toys. We're going to let them explore, and we're going to explore with them. And we're going to have, it all goes together. Engage, explore with them, and now let's expand it. Let's take it another level up. So play sets galore. You can go down any aisle in Target, in HEB, in Walmart, anywhere, and find play sets. And play sets are great. Remember, you want to find those play sets where you can turn that on and off switch off, so that it's not making the noise for them. Sorry, got distracted there. So play sets are good to kind of build that social play as well, and imaginative play and pretend play. So I have a very simple play set here, and this is a farm set that you can find, and there's all different kinds of farm sets. So this is going to start out with very functional play. What does the pig do? Oink, oink, oink. He snorts. Where does he live? Does he live in the hay? Does he live in the mud? Does he live with the chickens? So there we go. Now we can expand on that and say, oh, he is inside the mud. What happens when you get in the mud? Oh, you get dirty. Do you know why pigs like to play in the mud? And you start bringing that vocabulary and teaching skills to them as well. And you can also then start going, oh, where's the pig? Let's talk prepositions. Here we go. Here's a simple way of playing. And you can play the pig is on top of the farm, or the pig is inside the farm. Oh, we can't forget about our friends. Here comes Mr. Cow. What does cow do? Cow moos. Where does cow live? So we've got these. We're going to put him up here in the chicken for right now. He's friends with the chicken. So we've got this different way of playing with these play sets. And again, you have play sets for all sorts of things. You can have a play set for going to the grocery store. There is this really cute barbecue pit play set that you can have, and you can work on, barbecuing your hamburgers. And then there's ice cream play sets. There's doll houses. And through all these play sets, you've engaged with your child. You're working with them. They're not playing alone. They're not doing that parallel play right beside you. They're playing with you. It's cooperative play now. You've engaged them. They're exploring the different things. What happens now? This toy actually does have an on-off button. I have it off, but when I open the doors, it does make the different sounds of the different animals. So that can kind of help, if a child is beginning to learn sounds or beginning to vocalize, you can use that as a model and then turn it off and have them put their own sounds in there. Uh-oh, it didn't work. Help me. What does the sheep say, or what does the cow say, or the horse say? Have them put that in there. But it can be a good model, but then again, turn it off. So that's why you can't hear them here, because I do have them off for our play purposes. Another way to kind of build play, and then to build imaginative play, is bringing play sets together. So maybe I have the farm over here, and I have my animals, but then over on this other side, I've brought in my ice cream shop. What does an ice cream shop have to do with my farm play set? There we go. Now we're exploring some more things. We've engaged this imaginative play. We've engaged this, more abstract thinking. Well, you know what? Maybe my farmer has been working in the fields and taking care of the animals, and he's really hot. So now he's going to go over to my ice cream store, and he's going to get some ice cream, and he's going to meet some new friends, and he's going to bring his friends over to the farm. And now we've got both play sets together. And we're working with them together and building on that imaginative play and having them, again, practice these social interactions, which is another way. So maybe going to the ice cream shop. Maybe you have, I don't have that play set with me, but there's some really cute ones out there. And you can even practice these social interactions. Well, let's see, Joey's going to the ice cream shop. What does he do when he gets there? And you can help model that in these play sets. How does he order his ice cream? What does he say to the cashier? What happens if his ice cream falls on the ground? What are the appropriate ways to handle those different situations? So those are all different ways of kind of expanding that play and bringing it to that next level. So we talked a little bit about the vocabulary. I gave you some examples about using those prepositions, in, on, under, bringing play sets together and playing with them together. Another way is just teaching that new vocabulary. You know, what is a farmer? What does a farmer do? Or what does cashier mean? I've never heard of a cashier. Maybe this is the first time that they've, heard that word before, so you can bring that vocabulary in. When you go to the doctor, using doctor play sets to kind of help ease a child's anxiety. If maybe they're getting ready to go to the doctor and they have to get shots. I hated shots, still hate shots. But I'm sure many of your kids don't like them either, right? Well, maybe having that play set and playing with them, and they get to play being the doctor or the nurse, or you get to be the child and you can role play and you start bringing in this pretend play and imaginative play, and that will help ease that anxiety a little bit, hopefully, because it's not so new anymore. It gives them a sense of understanding of what is going to come. And again, that role playing, and you get to be an adult in imaginative play. There's a lot of costumes out there. You can dress up as firemen and doctors and police officers, as Batman, as Iron Man, and you can have all sorts of imaginative play that way as well. So we've talked about the 3 E's of play. Just to kind of review that, we have to engage your child in play. So again, being with your child, turning off all those devices and really giving them that undivided attention and teaching them what play and taking turns is like. And we talked about exploring the toys, seeing what else the toys can do, turning off those batteries, turning off any of those sounds to let the child explore and make things up, using those toys for different things, and then expanding on all of that play and expanding on all those toys. Bringing that vocabulary into play. And by expanding, like I said, we're bringing that pretend play and imaginative play. And it is okay to let your child say, this train's no longer a train. It's a spaceship. And I'm going to fly this, spaceship train all the way to the moon. That's imaginative play. And I have now taken something that was a train that's typically used to ride on tracks into something else. So I've now moved up another level of play with my child. So back to my question that I asked, what is the number one job of a child? And I'm hoping that we had some interactions or at least some thought process on this. I was giving you some hints, but the number one job is to play. That's how a child learns. So play is their job from any age. They're learning through play. They're learning vocabulary through play. They're learning social interactions with play. That is their job. So if you think that children don't have a job, that's it. It's their job is to play. And playing with a purpose is more than just having a child sit on the floor and just taking a car back and forth. Because we have to be taught how to play. Some kids don't know what to do with this. And so if we just give them a train and say, go play, well, they don't know what to do. And so this may not be fun for them at all. But if we get engaged with them and we start showing them, oh, this is a train and trains can go fast, or this is a sheep, and you know what sheep do? They're soft, and now we've engaged them and now they know how to play, and we've modeled that, and we get to be kids again. So that, that's fun, right? So that was our 3 E's for playing with a purpose, but I have a little bit of a bonus for you, because a lot of times I get a lot of questions from parents asking me, what's the best toy? What can I pick to play with my child? And price tag doesn't mean better. So just remember that. It's going to have to be something that your child is interested in. And I mentioned earlier, a lot of kids just love boxes, right? You get them this great big new toy and they just want to play with the box. They want to jump in the box. They want to jump out of the box. Don't discourage that. That's imaginative play, and that is play that's going to help build vocabulary. So I've seen people do, and I've encouraged people to also use markers, and they can make their own scenes on these boxes. Maybe they can make their own house out of the box, or they can go to space in the box. So let them use that. The other thing that I've seen that kids really love to play, especially toddlers, when they're still kind of in that exploratory stage, is that they are wanting to play with those kitchen spoons and pots and pans, and they're real loud and real noisy, and but it's exploring. They like that noise and they're figuring out what to do with it. So let's turn them into some musical instruments. Let's go ahead and turn that exploring for them into something purposeful and use them for musical instruments. Or maybe you've come up with something else and you can put the pot on their head and now they're, an alien, or they're going to have, they're a firefighter or whatever it may be, or a motorcycle rider, and there's their helmet. Let's use those things. It doesn't have to be a special expensive toy. But when looking for toys, some things to, some tips to think about are selecting toys without batteries or without sound, or an on and off switch. That's a good one to do, again, because that's going to encourage your child to have to do more work, because that's their job, is to play. So they have to play more, right? Look for toys that encourage involvement, that it's not just watching something. It's not just having, even with a very simple cause and effect toy, like the one that we showed here. Oops, let me see if I can get that to you here. You would think it's very simple. You're just going to hit it and you watch the ball go down. But if you've engaged your child, like we talked about, you have shown more that the toy can do. You talk about it going down, you talk about the colors, you talk about the hammer, and so now you've taken that simple toy and made it and expanded it into something even more. Choose toys that can be played in a variety of different ways. So again, we have a car track. Let's not just stick to inside the box. Maybe that car track can become something else. Maybe we can hook it up to other pieces and other tracks, and it's become a highway that we can take to different cities and we can take to the airport. It's not just one thing and one thing only, that you're able to use these for different things. And again, for the last tip that I'll give you for selecting toys is expose them to new toys. Let them see new toys. Let's not just keep using the same toys over and over again. That's great, and there's nothing wrong with playing with the same toys, but let's get them new toys. Let's find something else that they can use. So lots of toys out there, lots of things to play with. You can have play sets, puzzles, Play-Doh. Play-Doh's a great one. Play-Doh is a lot of fun, and I really kind of wanted to show some Play-Doh for you today, but it was just a hard setup. But you can do all sorts of vocabulary with Play-Doh. You can talk about cooking, so you bring cooking into play. And you can set up, you can make towers with Play-Doh and houses. You can roll the Play-Doh, you can cut the Play-Doh. You can use cookie cutters with Play-Doh. And the same thing is it's giving them that sensory input as well, because they're having to touch the Play-Doh and get involved in the Play-Doh. Bean box, get some of those beans you can buy and just throw them in a box, and now the kids are playing in there. And what can you hide in there for them? You can hide all sorts of different things. Turn it into a category. Let's say we have some play sets. We have the farm play set, we have the ice cream play set, and we have the dollhouse. And I dig into this bean box and I pull out a pig. Well, where does the pig go? Does he go with the ice cream shop? Does he go in the dollhouse? Do pigs usually live in our house? Maybe, but not typically. Although I have seen it. But the farm. So we've already started that categories and sorting skills. And then again, that sensory play. So it doesn't have to be expensive. It's toys that get your child involved, get you involved with your child, that you can play in multiple different ways to expand and to explore on it. So I hope that I've given you some tips and some things interesting for play, and I love to hear what comments you have or any play items that you really enjoy doing either as a child or that your children really love doing that you can share with the rest of our friends here on Facebook. So let me see, I think I have here, we did want to talk about kids, not sharing, and so that is something, again, that play is going to kind of help build, because if they're in that solitary play, they're used to playing by themselves. They're, all alone, or even in that parallel play, you may have, 2-year-olds, and my 2-year-old's over here playing with cars, and my friend's 2-year-old is over here playing with cars, but they're not playing together. So we want to encourage that, and sharing's not easy, but we can start working toward bringing them closer together and maybe taking turns. Switching and swapping. Here's a blue car for you. Now you get the green car, and switch back and forth and kind of start to encourage that sharing that way. So anyways, I hope that you guys have had a good time talking with us and talking about play. And I will, tag your friends, share with your friends to see if they would be interested in anything or have any comments. We'll definitely be checking back in to see if you have any questions for any of the play items. And don't forget to follow our page so that you can stay up with our next live chats when they come on and any information that we may have to share. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.